Again, when I talked about getting Augustine to say whatever you want, I'm mainly speaking to Calvinists, because Calvinists will say things like, well, Augustine taught Calvinism. Augustine was a proto-Calvinist. He taught that, he taught sola fide. He taught sola gratia. He taught that the sacraments were just symbolic. He taught that, apostolic succession was not necessary. He taught contrary to all of those things. He actually didn't teach any of those things, if you read him correctly, if you read him in the Orthodox way. For example, on baptismal regeneration, Augustine ascribed to baptism the traditional effects, a washing away of absolutely all sins, whether of deeds or words or thoughts, whether original or added, whether committed unconsciously or permitted consciously. The assurance that one may hope for an unending life when he dies, a regeneration through the washing of regeneration as a beginning of complete and eternal regeneration, and the gift of the Holy Spirit, even though it was also true that it is possible for baptism to exist without the Holy Spirit. Pelikan goes on to say, it is incorrect, therefore, to attribute to Augustine either a scholastic doctrine of transubstantiation, speaking of the Eucharist and the specific way in which it was defined by Catholics later on in the medieval centuries, or a Protestant doctrine of symbolism, for he taught neither, or both. And both were able to cite his authority. And so, again, anyone who has read Augustine and anyone who understands how these debates end up kind of getting fleshed out in the later centuries comes to realize that you can quote mine church fathers and selectively quote them and try to make them say whatever you want them to say, but ultimately that is just a lazy way of thinking.